Hello, tile friends. How are you today? Welcome back to another episode of Tile Money, the podcast where we discuss the business of being a tile contractor. My name is Luke Miller, your host. I am a tile contractor myself here in the state of California. All right, today I've got another solo episode for you to listen to, and I want to talk to you about confidence and how confidence helps win sales. Tile Money is brought to you by the National Tile Contractors Association, and this episode is sponsored by Laticrete International. So, why do you think confidence is so important to you as the tile contractor, as a business owner? I want to tell you why. Confidence is important because confidence is, of course, believing in yourself. Confidence is believing in your product, your abilities, and what you're selling. This is true whether you're selling to a homeowner or to a builder. You're going to have confidence. And let me tell you something, friends. I'm not an expert at confidence. It's something that's I've been working on. I've been working on building up my confidence. I've been working on believing in myself. Even last week's episode, I listened to it again, and I heard myself, and someone reminded me that I was not as confident as I should be in some of the things I was recommending you do. So trust me when I say that I understand this takes time, it takes effort, but it's an important aspect to being a business owner. And I'll give you a quick experience. When I first started out as a tile contractor, as a business owner, I lacked confidence. I lacked confidence bad. I did not believe in myself. So I was getting leads, believe it or not. It was 2008 and the economy was kind of taking a nosedive, but I was in Monterey, California. Those people have money. A lot of them were still remodeling and building during those early recession years and even all through the recession. So I was getting leads because I was actually at home playing around on the computer, and I had stumbled across something called Google AdWords. And I was using this Google AdWords for only 50 cents a click, $1 a click. It was very cheap at that time. Now you're going to be up $7, $8, $10 a click. And I was getting the phone to ring for a few cents. But when I would go out to these jobs, I would run right out there. I did not have the confidence to sell myself. I did not have the confidence. I didn't believe that I was the contractor that homeowner was looking for. I didn't believe that. And so I did not win any bids. I did not win very few bids, maybe 1 out of 20. And so what happened is I had to get into another industry because I was not making money. My wife said, "You're sitting on the couch. You're getting the leads." And she, my wife's been one of my confidence builders. I've talked about this in other episodes. Over the years, for the last 11 years, I've been married to my beautiful, strong wife, intelligent wife, and she's been one of my confidence builders, a consistent in my life. So I want to talk to you about confidence today. You could see the importance because you could get all the leads you want. I can show you how to do that with the internet. I can show you how to do that on Google. But if you don't have the confidence, you can't sell the job. And this confidence, what it is when you have confidence in yourself, you have confidence in your product, your finished tile work, you're able to influence others. And like I said many times before, if you're in business for yourself, you're a salesperson. You need to sell yourself. And that's why confidence comes into play, because you're going to influence others, because you sell your product with influence. So that's why the two go hand in hand, and they're so important. A mistake that I made and that many others make is attempting to convince others that you believe what you're saying, when in reality you might not believe it. See, I didn't believe, the 25-year-old me didn't believe that I was the best contractor. I didn't believe that I was able to even fulfill that job because I was brand new. So that's a mistake, is just trying to convince people that you believe it. Because true influence is when those people, your potential customers, believe that you believe and what you're saying is true. And then you'll experience you will experience influence when you believe what you're saying is true. And you can influence them to make the right decision. The right decision is hiring you as a contractor. See, constantly going out there and tripping over yourself, constantly attempting to convince other people to believe in what you're saying comes off as desperate. You come off as a beggar. You come off with very weak energy. None of these things are going to sell. These are going to do the opposite of sell. They're going to say, nope, it doesn't have anything to do with price. See, when I was younger, like I said, that experience, my prices were very low. But people in Monterey, they don't buy on price. People in Carmel, they don't buy on price. They buy on value. And they buy with experience. And I lack that. I lack confidence. And another reason why people buy, we might think, a lot of times the way our brains work is we think people are going to buy because they're going to understand all the steps. And we're going to be the ones to tell them, oh, here's the products I'm going to use. Here's why my products are better. Here's why my water in, water out system is better. Here's why my topical waterproofing system is better. Whatever you're selling, right? Whatever you believe in, you're trying to tell them the whole step. And their eyes blur over. You've lost them. You've lost them. You've lost that sale. People buy things that they do not understand all the time. What they need is not to understand what they're buying. People need to understand that you believe in it. A lot of other people buy things because their peers, their friends, right? They tell them how cool it is to have something. They tell them that buying this is making a statement. See, I believe that tile is not needed. We are not selling a service that's needed. No real poor person is calling you up for a tile shower. Having tile is like wearing brand name clothing. See, when I was a kid, I had my very first Nike shoes, and it was 5th grade. The first day of 5th grade, I showed up with a brand new pair of Nike shoes for the first time. And I was so excited because I had the brand name stuff. Even though that wasn't who I was raised to be, I had the brand name stuff. And I thought I was going to fit in. And that's a reason, that's a huge reason people buy things. Recently, Ron Nash posted in my Facebook group, Tile Money, a store in New York City selling sneakers for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars and jeans for thousands of dollars, or vice versa. Maybe it was $600 jeans and $2,000 sneakers, something ridiculous like that. And they weren't anything special. They're just running shoes. They're just Nikes, on-release Nikes, quote unquote. See? People buy because they want to be cool. They want to fit in. And that's like tile. Tile's a lifelong product. You never really need to replace tile. There's tile that's thousands of years old. People are buying new tile because they want it. They desire it. So they need to believe that you believe that you're going to get them and give them everything that their little heart desires. You are the contractor for their job. You're going to fulfill their dreams. You're going to fulfill their wishes. See? So I want to talk to you a little bit more about this, but first we've got some manufacturer news. This manufacturer news is sponsored by Laticrete International. Last episode number 58, I talked about the industry news. The industry news last week was sponsored by NTCA because, see, we've been talking about the dangers of silica for your lungs. So, and how the NTCA has their online university set up to train your employees on subjects like this. But I wanted to dive further into this. So I asked my friend Ron, I said, Ron, what's Laticrete doing? I already knew Laticrete was the leading the pack. I already knew they were top dog in leading the industry in silica safety. So I asked him for a statement from Laticrete because I think this is very important, friends. I want to elaborate on this because I care about you. And here's what Laticrete has to say. Laticrete has been working diligently for years on the health and safety aspect of our bagged products. We've hired an independent industrial hygienist to evaluate key SKUs in our line. And we have a report that shows that we are fully compliant with OSHA's new workplace standards. Products representative of the tile and stone installation system, masonry veneer installation system, and the specialty products division were tested. So they've tested all their products. Key products included titanium 257, Trilite, MVIS, premium pointing mortar, and NXT. In addition, we have added the new Multimax Light and Permacolor Select to the mix. Multimax Light and titanium are completely silica free. We are working hard to make our products even safer, but still strongly believe that PPE, personal protective equipment, friends, should be used at all times on the job. Protect yourself from all possible exposure. We care about your health. End quote. So let's get back to this confidence thing. As I was saying about confidence and why people buy things, people buy all the time because the person who sold it to them believed in it. They believed in it enough that they made that sale. The more certain person always influences the less certain person. So be certain about yourself. Be confident. Be confident that you are the tile contractor. Believe that you are the only real option for your customers, your potential customers, the ones you're looking for. You're a good fit for each other. So you don't need every single customer. You don't want every single customer. You can't even do it. It's not even physically possible. So why would you try? You just need a few customers a year, 20 maybe, maybe 40 if you're a larger operation or if you're a few very efficient guys. But how many people are in your city? So if you need 40 people a year, do the math. You don't need a lot, but you need to be confident that you're the perfect fit for your potential customer. And I want you to be energetic. Be energetic for a couple of reasons. Here's a couple real life examples. Energy and confidence sells, okay? Just look, and I'm not going to get political, but just look at the last few president elections. Look at the winners. Look at the race. They look at the way they ran their race, their political race, right? Look at what they said. Look at how they presented themselves. I guarantee you all of the winners were confident and they were energetic and they believed in themselves. I guarantee you this fact. The winner of the race always has more energy and more certainty in himself. This makes him or her influential. See, as a business person, like I said, you want to be influential. You're influencing your potential customers. You ever look at a good salesperson, a large company, and their workforce isn't qualified as you. It's not built up of a lot of quality contractors, CTIs, etc. But their salespeople are the CTI equivalent. Their salespeople have confidence. Their salespeople have energy. Their salespeople know how to sell themselves and be influential. That's why this is important. I'm not trying to build up those companies. I'm not talking to those companies. I'm talking to you, the small tile contractor who's an excellent craftsman, the artisan. I want you to be confident in your skills and your abilities. I want you to win. I want you to be on top. Know that you are the best. Now, the second example, this man knows that he's the best. I'm not a fighter. I don't really watch this kind of stuff, but a lot of you might. Some of you might. Conor McGregor, an Irish fighter, the king of combat sports, as he's called, right? You might know who I'm talking about. Recently, I was asked to listen to an interview. Tony Robbins interviewed him. You could find it on any podcast player. If you want to listen to this interview, it would probably, whether you watch this kind of stuff or not, like I don't, but it's good to understand the mindset here. Because Conor knows that he's the best in the ring when he steps in there. He knows he's going to win. He tells himself he's going to win. He tells his opponents that he's going to win. And he tells his opponents how and when he's going to knock them out. And then he does it. See, that's confidence. That's true confidence. And he has something dear. He has something on the line. See, he understands that there's a possibility His life is on the line. He understands that literally he has to win that fight. He has a lot to lose, in other words, potentially. How about you? What do you have to lose if you don't win? Start winning jobs at a higher profit rate. What do you have to lose if you continue to be unprofitable? It's 2019 when I'm talking to you here, July. The market's hot. Things are hopping. If you don't have money in the bank, what do you have to lose in the future when the market takes a dive? Do you argue about money with your significant other? See, that's why we're talking about confidence. That's why we're talking about selling at a profitable rate. That's why we're talking about putting money in your bank. I'm not telling you to be filthy rich and greedy. I'm talking about establishing quality, long-term companies for yourself, your family, and your communities. Don't confuse this confidence with ego. Please don't confuse it. Ego is not confidence. See, ego comes from insecurity. That comes from not understanding who you are, not really believing in yourself. And most people can see right through this egotistical attitude. So don't be egotistical. Don't boast. Don't brag. That comes from fear. See, when you get afraid, that's the other thing that happens when you're not winning jobs. If you're only a week or two ahead and you only have a call or two a month coming in, you get afraid. And so either you're going to be insecure or you're going to overcompensate and you're going to start boasting or bragging about yourself. And people can smell that from a mile away. So remain humble but confident. It's a balancing act. I know it is. It's something that we all have to work on. Be confident and humble in what you have to do and what you have to offer. And how to do this, how to become more confident, you need to go about your day understanding that you are great at what you do. Understand that what you can do is awesome and that you're putting out your best work. If you can't do something, don't attempt to sell it. Don't attempt to go out there and oversell it. Maybe learn some more. Maybe take some of these classes that are so readily available. Maybe go back to work for somebody. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do, but don't try to oversell your services. But understand what you can do. And many of you, I believe pretty much all of my audience are very capable tile contractors. I'm talking to you, the cream of the top. I'm talking to the cream of the crop here. I'm talking to you because you're sitting here, you're investing in yourself by listening to this episode. Hundreds of you are listening to this. Thousands of you are on Facebook. Thousands of you are bashing each other and telling each other that you could do better. But hundreds of you are listening to this episode because you know that it's all about the business and that you need to begin with the end in mind. You know that you need to work on your confidence. See? So hundreds of you are winning and are going to be on top. Allow yourself to celebrate these wins and victories. Don't hold yourself back from celebrating these wins and victories. Because when you celebrate these, that's going to lead to a deeper hunger for more wins and victories, and you're only going to want to get better. You're only going to want to push yourself to get better. It's just like that good steak. I love a good steak. I'm a meat eater. I don't eat a lot of meat. For a big guy, I don't eat that much. It's funny. As I get older, But if you have a good steak, and if you're like me, you like to grill your steaks, and that's the best steak you're ever going to have. But when you take that first bite of that good steak, you don't say, well, I'm full now. No, you want to eat the whole thing because you've had a taste of the good life. You've had a taste of that steak. So allow yourself to celebrate your wins and your victories in your business. Do it because this will lead to eating more wins and victories, so to speak, eating more steak, right? Be present with yourself. Enjoy your work. Enjoy your life, your family, and your friends. Because when you do this, you're going to have happiness. Don't delay that happiness. Don't be like, well, I need to work 70 hours a week for the next 60 years. That's not smart, in my opinion. You're going to lose your drive. You could risk it all. So don't be afraid of taking time off to contemplate. Your brain needs this. Put your phone away because you won't lose your drive In fact, you'll only increase your drive. You'll come back more hungry, more confident. Take time to enjoy this life because you'll be rejuvenated for more victories. And allow yourself, if you need to, spend some of that hard earned money. If that's what it takes to gain that confidence, just like wearing those Nike shoes, that first pair of Nike shoes I told you about, turns out they were last year's model and everybody laughed at me. So I never owned Nike shoes again until recently because I was looking for value or comfort and I thought I'd try it out. But I never bought another pair of Nike shoes when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. I went to another world. I went to the Vans world, right? The skateboarding world, because that's where I fit in. I realized that those Nike shoes, even if I had today's pair, they weren't going to bring me what I needed. But sometimes we do buy things because it gives us confidence. So that's why I say sometimes there's value in spending some of that hard-earned money. There's value in taking that vacation that you promised your wife when you were dating because it's going to boost your confidence. I can do it, right? So right now, enjoy this tile money tip. And this tile money tip is sponsored by Laticrete. Ron Nash and I have been talking about negotiations. And we're talking about counter tactics. In this tip, we're going to talk about the counter tactics, two of them, the crunch and also the escalation tactic. So look forward and pay attention to these kung fu moves.
We've talked about the crunch before in length. We won't have to get too deep on it, but it's when anybody says you've got to do better than that. You got to do better than that.
Yeah.
Your pricing's got to be better than that. It's extremely effective for a buyer because it works 95% of the time. That's why buyers do it all the time. General contractors do it. Like they literally answer the phone. You got to do better than that. What's going on today? It's really important to, one, stand your ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do nothing until the buyer tells you why. Okay. And then keep selling and value adding and valuing and showing the benefits as you do this. You got to do better than that. Hey, look, man, I'm giving you this a lifetime warranty system. The specification is called for premium products. I'm giving you what you want. Tell me why I need to do better than that. I literally put it on them. Why?
Yeah.
And then be ready for them to switch tactic on you, which may sound like, well, I've got another contract that's $5,000. Can you do it for $5,000? Then you go into that tactic. So as you see, this is like kung fu, right? There's like 5 or 10 different moves that you can do, and they all, with mastery, will help you navigate through the crunch, which is you got to do better than that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The next one's called escalation. All right. Escalation it's a tough opening and a mid-negotiation tactic. And they use it on Pawn Stars all the time. Okay. And I love Pawn Stars because I like to I like to literally watch them and say, oh, that's a nibble. Oh, that's a crunch. Oh, he's using escalation at this point. It's a good way to do it because you can see a lot of negotiation happen back and forth and you can start recognizing tactics. So Pawn Stars, they'll do this. Okay. So, he'll say, okay, well, this, the original Bud Light beer can from the first Bud Light that's ever been created, brought it into you to buy. The guy looks at it and says, well, let me call an expert, appeal to a higher authority. Let me call an expert. The expert comes and says, oh, yeah, it's an original Bud Light container. It's really good. And I value this at $1,000. All right. As soon as he leaves, what's the first thing they do on Pawn Stars? They'll say, okay, I'll give you $250. Right?
Yeah.
And the buyer always says, well, he just said it was worth $1,000. Right? And then what does the Pawn Stars do? They always go, well, I've got to relist it. I've got to find a market to it. What do? They kind of litter the lawn a little bit.
Okay.
They go to the specification, what they're going to have to do to sell it. Right. And then on top of it, they'll sometimes do this. They'll go, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you. I'll give you $400. The other guy says $500. And this is where the escalation comes. The guy says, okay, I'll give you $500. And they'll go, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $250. See, it's a reverse escalation because they feel like they've gotten to a zone of possible agreement, a ZOPA, Zone of possible agreement at $400. They reverse escalated by going down even lower to help lower the aspiration level of the buyer.
Wow.
I know that sounded super complicated, but I'm going to give you an easier example. Okay. Look, I've got a contract that is for $4,000, right? All right. You can always say, well, I'll tell you what, I can get it to you by Friday for $5,500. That's a reverse escalation, or
Okay.
that is an escalation. You've said, all right, you think you can get me to do it for my original purchase price. You want me to do it faster. I'm going to escalate that.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
So basically it's giving a higher price than you've already been quoted. A lot of times that works on the same psychological principle as anchoring. We talked about anchoring and other different things, but you can also go back and say, oh, you know what? As you're trying to negotiate with me, I realized that I forgot X. Your price is actually higher than what I said.
Yeah.
That tactic is really pisses people off, but the point is that's called an escalation tactic. You
Yeah.
can use it in reverse. You can use it going down below as a buyer, or you could use it in selling as by going back up.
Okay.
Actually, I forgot X, so your price is actually higher.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of times, it's a good way to get people kind of off the scent. Stop negotiating with me.
Let's agree on something. Yeah, that makes sense.
Dark
I
art.
think we're all going to be watching Pawn Stars with a different view now in a notebook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I suggest you do it.
Yeah.
They're very, very programmatic in the negotiation, and
Yeah.
it's good to kind of break it apart.
Did you enjoy that tile money tip with Ron? I know I did. Listen, this stuff is so important to Ron and his business and what he's doing with Laticrete that he's back in school, he's back in class, learning more, diving deeper into this stuff. That's how important this is. And here he is sharing what he's paying or what Laticrete's paying him to do, to learn. And he's sharing it with you and I, the tile contractor, for free. Are we taking advantage of it? I know many of you are. Keep it up. There's going to be more coming down the pipeline. So keep messaging me. If you're enjoying this podcast like I know you are, please share it with another tile contractor. Please review my Facebook page. If you could do this, I would appreciate it. Have a good day, tile friends.